Hello guys, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I am also doing great. First of all, I hope all of you are safe and sound and in good health. Very difficult times. Well, इस episode में we are going to discuss about different roles, duties of some financial sector roles, and then we are also going to talk about the kind of education or certification that you might require to build a career in those particular roles. And thirdly, what are the kind of salaries that you might expect or the compensation that you might expect in those particular roles. Well, financial sector एक बहुत बड़ा sector है, and I had tried to give a glimpse of the financial sector in my last episode. In case you are interested to see the financial ecosystem, which was this, you can actually go and see it in detail in my last episode, which you can find from my channel page. And I had also discussed the retail banking roles, some of the retail banking roles in depth, which was the role of a teller, universal banker, and the advisor kind of a role. What are the kind of certifications etc. required for those particular roles? तो उसके लिए आप जाके मेरे चैनल पे से ये वाला एपिसोड देख सकते हो एंड यू विल गेट अ लॉट ऑफ नॉलेज इनटू हाउ टू गेट इनटू द बैंकिंग सेक्टर इन कनाडा. In this particular episode, I am going to talk about different kind of roles and how to build a career in mortgage. In case you are coming here and you want to build a career in mortgage, or you have a background in mortgage, it is quite different from what it is back in the Asian countries. So I'll just explain that. I'll also explain about the role of a personal banker, जिसको wealth manager भी बोलते हैं, which is pretty much the same as what it is in the Asian or like since I come from India, so Indian context में काफी similar है, but थोड़ा सा different है Canada में. I'll discuss about that also. I will also talk about a very different role, which is a role of a trust or a estate banker, जो कि इंडिया में तो एटलीस्ट मैंने नहीं सुना था. So maybe other Asian countries might have it, but Canada में बहुत ही बड़ा और अच्छा रोल होता है, which is also part of a retail bank. And finally, we will discuss about how to become a branch manager and how long and what kind of compensation does a branch manager basically gets here in Canada. So it might become a little long episode, so bear with me. Before we start, in case you are new to my channel, do check out the other videos, and if, in case you like them and in case they are adding some value to your life, do consider subscribing to the channel. And in case you are coming back, I hope मैं इस episode में भी आपको ऐसा कुछ दे पाऊँ जिससे शायद आप मेरे चैनल पे वापस आए हो, and maybe I'm able to give you some kind of a value. So before wasting any time, spring start हो गया है कनाडा में, so let me give you a glimpse of spring and then we'll start the episode. So guys, सबसे पहले let's talk about mortgage careers and how to build a career in Canada in mortgage. It is quite different from what it is in India. After we discuss mortgage, then we'll talk about wealth management role, and also we'll talk about the estate and trust administrator role, which is very unique to Canada. And after that, we'll talk about how you become a branch manager in Canada and what is the kind of salaries etc. you have in all these roles. So without wasting time, let's get on to the mortgage role, which is going to be the longest part of this video. So mortgage in Canada is a very big industry. Mortgage is probably $1 trillion plus industry. Well, इतनी बड़ी industry है, and इस pandemic के अंदर, because the real estate has actually gone up by at least 20 to 25%, hence the mortgage industry has also shot up like crazy. Well, ये already बहुत ही अच्छी industry थी. However, just to give you a little difference between South Asian market, probably Indian market and Canadian market, यहाँ पे जो mortgage का जो rate होता है वो usually is somewhere between 1 to 4%. So 1 to 4% as compared to what it is in India, which is more than 8 or 9%, becomes a very good deal, and it becomes actually very easy to buy a house over here. Well, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मैं खरीद रहा हूँ, but I'm just giving you a context. So since that is the case, the rent and the rate of the EMI becomes so close to each other that people actually end up buying the house pretty easily over here. So that is why you will see a lot of people saying I bought this house, that house, etc. because the rate of mortgages are very less. So that is number one. Number two is that because यहाँ पे mortgage का इस time पे boom चल रहा है, So there are a lot of people who are actually going towards the mortgage market or becoming a mortgage mortgage broker or an agent. Well, एजेंट और मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर से याद आया कि इंडिया में टिपिकली लोग जो है वो मॉर्गेज के अंदर अपना करियर बनाते हैं बैंक्स में. यूजुअली देयर इज अ सेपरेट टीम इन द बैंक एंड दैट टीम इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर सेलिंग mortgages in the bank. However, in Canada, it is actually quite different. I was trying to find this out for my own self because I have had experience of loan in India, and I was pretty decent in doing that. So I thought that ये काम कर लेना चाहिए. However, I refrained from doing it, and I will tell you why also. Mortgage market in Canada is one very regulated. That's obviously there. Usually financial markets होती हैं. However, there is 3-step process of actually getting into mortgage. In Canada, you can actually not sell anything without a license, and so is the case of mortgage as well. So the first step is actually to study about mortgage and get a license. So that is step number 1. तो अगर स्टडी करना है तो क्या करना चाहिए, कहाँ से करना चाहिए, कितने पैसे लगेंगे? तो सबसे पहले these are the courses. Let me just show you on screen.
So like I said, all the provinces have their own licensing authority. In case of Ontario, it is FSRA, and you have to go and check the website of FSRA and see what is the kind of eligibility criterion, like 18 years plus, residents of Canada, etc. And then in the same website down below, you can check the colleges which are offering the course. So यही वाले colleges का FSRA approved course है that you need to do. Similarly, this is for British Columbia, which is being offered by Sauder School of Business, which is of course a part of University of British Columbia. Well, the cost of these courses, of course, it is province wise. However, it ranges from say $350 to $1,000. This, like I told you, is for Manitoba, and this is how you need to find for all the other provinces also, and you need to check the individual prices of these courses.
अब बात करते हैं स्टेप नंबर 2 की. So आपके पास सर्टिफिकेशन तो आ गई, लेकिन still you don't have a license to sell. For that license, you need to find a employer, which is usually a brokerage firm, and that brokerage firm usually applies on your behalf to the registration office, which is usually provincial offices, and then you get a license to sell. Well, this also has a cost involved, and usually it costs you somewhere between $600 to $1,000. Usually this cost in Ontario is somewhere around $800, and you have to obviously renew this license on a yearly basis, and in some provinces even on two yearly basis. Well, अब दो तो खर्चे हो गए, अब आपके पास लाइसेंस आ गया है. अब आ जाते हैं स्टेप नंबर 3 पे. So now you have a license to sell. However, and you're working for a particular organization. Usually, which is the most critical point, is that your salary is not a salary but a commission-based job. So you are mostly independent to sell whatever you want to sell, but obviously under the umbrella of that particular brokerage firm where you have started working. So ये सबसे बड़ा कैविएट है जिसकी वजह से मैं ये वाला करियर नहीं लेना पसंद कर रहा था इसमें, बिकॉज आई थॉट इट विल टेक some time for me to establish myself, and I wanted something immediately, and the idea of having a commission based job is something which was not very appealing to me. That is why I actually dropped the idea of taking a mortgage license, although I thought that I would have done a great job in terms of banking in the mortgage side. However, like I told you, commission based job is something which I did not want to do at all, and hence मैंने ये वाला लाइसेंस नहीं लिया, और मैंने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का लाइसेंस लिया है, which I also told in my previous video, which is this. एंड ये लाइसेंस लेने के लिए लाइसेंस नहीं लिया, एक्चुअली मैंने उसका भी सर्टिफिकेशन लिया है. जब मेरे को कोई हायर करेगा तब वो मेरे बिहाफ पे लाइसेंस लेगा म्यूचुअल फंड्स का. एनीवेज, आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट हो गया. सो समराइज कर देते हैं इसको. So if you want to become a mortgage agent, step number 1 is clearing a basic exam, which I just told you about. Then after clearing the exam, you need to get hired in a particular brokerage firm, and that firm will get you a license. Education usually takes somewhere between $400 to $500, and your license takes around $800 to $900, and of course it is on a renewable basis. And third, then you can start selling. And finally, if you are really good at selling, you have made your own contacts, then you can obviously become an independent agent and start making money on your own. What kind of money that you can make is, मान लो कि आप 2 घर बेचते हो एक महीने में, और एक घर की कीमत है तकरीबन अराउंड $500,000 विच इज़ अराउंड $5 लाख, तो $10 लाख का सेल करते हो आप, एंड अगर आप बेयर मिनिमम 0.5% कमीशन भी लेते हो, विच इज़ ऑब्वियसली समथिंग जो कि नहीं होता, यूजुअली आपको इससे ज़्यादा ही मिलता है, देन यू स्टार्ट मेकिंग $5,000 a month, which is approximately equal to $60,000 a year. $60,000 is a decent amount of money here if you actually start. However, you will not sell 2 houses, right? You will try to sell more. I don't have a first-hand experience of how many houses people actually sell. However, I'm just telling you कि अगर आप 2 ही बेचते हो तो how much money can you make? So this was, if you take the career path which is towards the brokerage side of the business. However, if you want to get into banking, which also I thought, यहाँ पे बैंकिंग में अगर आप बैंक में जाते हो, if you become a mortgage specialist, that role is called as mobile mortgage specialist usually.
Let's check out this JD. This is of Scotia Bank, which I've just pulled out from their own website. This is for home financing advisor, which is similar to mobile mortgage specialist, which we just discussed. Just look at this. It says the role is 100% commission based. So if you want to work in a bank on commission and you have a passion for such kind of a mortgage role, then I think sky is the limit, and I think you can make a lot of money. However, if you're not very comfortable in terms of commission based jobs, then obviously it becomes a bit of a concern. You can also check out the other requirements over here. The other requirement says you need to have at least 3 to 5 years of mortgage experience. And mortgage experience आएगा कैसे? Bank obviously is not going to hire you and train you. Bank is usually going to pick you up from some other mortgage or a realtor from where you already have an experience.
Since you're working as an employee of a bank, then of course you get some kind of a perks that all the employees get, which of course you don't get as a independent broker. However, having said all that, I think I was not very confident with the fact that I did not want to do something on a commission base. However, if you are somebody who is actually looking for a job come business, or probably you want to establish your own self, you enjoy really establishing something of your own self over a period of time, and you think that mortgage is something which is made for you, you want independence, you want to work on your own terms, then probably this is a course that you must do, and you should probably start your course the moment you come here. Like I told you, there are courses that you can do for free also. How you can do that I have discussed in this video, because I did my mutual fund certification course for almost free. How I did that, you can actually check this video out from my channel page. So guys, the next role that we shall discuss today is the estate and trust administrator. Well, ये एक बहुत ही यूनिक रोल है जिसके बारे में मैंने यहाँ से पहले नहीं सुना था. एटलीस्ट इंडिया में तो नहीं होता है, बिकॉज देयर इज अ वेरी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ अ सिस्टम विच इज बीइंग फॉलोड इन इंडिया. यहाँ पे कनाडा में एस्टेट और ट्रस्ट प्लानिंग एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ मानी जाती है. यूजुअली जो भी क्लाइंट्स हैं जिनकी एज ज़्यादा होती है, दे यूजुअली वांट टू हैव सम काइंड ऑफ अ सिक्योरिटी इन टर्म्स ऑफ their power of attorney, their will, and there is a separate taxation system when somebody passes away. What kind of a taxation system is there, and and इसके अलावा power attorney रहती है. इसके अलावा all the things that you have in terms of financial assets, they need to be managed for you after a certain period of time. If you are a HNI, or maybe if you are an individual who is basically wanting to secure everything for your next generation. So there are some courses which are offered by CSI, which is Estate and Trust Planning, या Estate and Trust Strategy का भी एक course होता है. But I think that if you want to make a career in this, the right way of getting into this is maybe get a usual certification which I talked about, get into the bank, and then kind of rise up in this kind of a role over a period of time if you are really interested in this kind of a role. However, मेरा ये मानना है कि ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा important role है जिसमें आप लीगल एस्पेक्ट्स को जानते हो. यू ऑल्सो बिकम एन एक्सपर्ट इन टैक्सेशन. ऑफ कोर्स क्लाइंट सर्विस इज समथिंग विच यू ऑब्वियसली टेक केयर, एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली, if you're getting into this role, then it is obviously confidential. in terms of dealing with the clients, and of course there is a lot of responsibility that you have on your shoulder. The salary for these kind of roles, like I told you, ranges from $55,000 per year to about $100,000 or more, depending on your seniority, etc. However, directly अगर आप जाना चाहते हो, तो I don't think there is any provision without an experience in this kind of a role in a bank in particular country, like for example in this case we are talking about Canada. Talking about the cost of these courses, I think that once you get into the bank and you're interested in this kind of a role, then only you should go and apply for these courses. But after telling your management that you are really interested, and then probably you can be sponsored by the banks itself to do these courses. Usually it costs somewhere between $800 to $1,200. जैसे usually CSE का course होता है, and so on and so forth. सो गाइज, अब हम बात करते हैं प्राइवेट बैंकिंग की. सो प्राइवेट बैंकर और वेल्थ मैनेजर जिसको भी बोला जाता है, दे आर बेसिकली टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द क्लाइंट्स विच आर अल्ट्रा हाई नेट वर्थ इंडिविजुअल्स या उनके फैमिलीज और समटाइम्स इवन द बिजनेसेस. सो सिंस द मनी इन्वॉल्व इज वेरी ह्यूज, so the individuals who are taking care of this have very good knowledge about the products, taxation system, legality, real estate, and of course the estate planning and the financial planning side of it. So hence these people are the ones who are usually with good amount of experience, number one. Number two, they have had experience in terms of a role of a financial planner, which I discussed in the first episode. And then of course they have good amount of certifications, and they also have some kind of a designation. Because private bankers usually handle all the high net worth individuals, that is why these people are usually the ones with the best experience, soft skills, and of course the best product knowledge. जब हम product knowledge की बात करते हैं, then of course certifications become a mandate. So certifications के नाम पे CSE is something which obviously you need to have as a bare minimum. You can have retirement planning certifications, which is of course being given by CSI, and then of course you can also have estate planning certification. Other than that, personal financial planner का designation अगर आपके पास है, then of course that also becomes a bare minimum that you need to have to become a wealth manager. The kind of salaries that you get in wealth management is usually above 70k per year, and it can obviously go up as high as 150k plus. Well, all these figures of salaries etc. that I'm coming up with is usually available online on websites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn etc. So guys, अब बात कर लेते हैं लास्ट में ब्रांच मैनेजर की. बहुत ही लंबी वीडियो हो गई है. So branch manager actually वो बंदा बन सकता है who has the crisscross of all the roles which we had discussed in my first episode and this episode. So summarizing the entire thing is that a branch manager obviously has to know how the operations of the entire branch happen in terms of the cash transaction जो कि teller करता है, जो कि हमने first episode में discuss किया था. Then the role of a universal banker, wherein you deal with the customer at the first when the customer walks in, and obviously you also need to know about the products such as the mutual funds, bonds, derivatives etc., for which you have to do some courses which I have discussed in my episode 1, like CSC and IFC. So a branch manager needs to have all these courses under his belt, and then of course he also needs to have the knowledge of lending, and probably must have had done some kind of a role in lending, maybe a role of a sales or a role of an underwriter or something like that, so that he understands lending. He needs to have a lending license etc. Even if he doesn't have a lending license, he must have had some kind of an experience under his belt so that he understands that. Other than that, he also needs to have had handled some kind of high net worth individual, so that he understands that bit as well. And once you have all those experiences and the certifications and some designations like personal financial planner etc., then obviously you become eligible to handle the branch and handle all the people under you who are working in different capacity. So if you want to become a branch manager right away after coming to Canada without having a Canadian experience, I think that is something which is very unfair that you are trying to ask from your own self, because you actually don't know anything about the Canadian banking sector. So usually what happens is, or usually what I think is, that people get into the bank at the level of a teller or a universal banker, or at best at the at the level of a financial advisor, and then they rise up the ladder depending on their experience. So if you're coming from outside Canada, then you can actually apply for roles like a teller or a universal banker if you don't have much experience in banking, and then rise up the ladder if you like banking. Otherwise, if you are coming here with some banking experience, then you can actually do some individual courses such as CSI or CSE. Then you can actually get into roles like a financial advisor or financial service representative, and then kind of rise up the ladder in different roles which I talked about in this episode, and eventually become a branch manager and get into the corporate roles. I really hope this brought some knowledge to you, and it will give you some starting point from where you can start in terms of a job search in Canada. Let me also just tell you that all this information, extensive information that I have, is because I have a banking experience from India. However, I wanted to start something in banking over here. I have not been able to find anything till now. However, all these things that I'm telling you is on the basis of all the research that I have done for my own self. So you can actually learn from what I have researched, and probably all the mistakes that I am doing. Anyways, I hope this video was of some value to you. In case it was, please do like, share and subscribe this video, and also send it to somebody who might need it. And also in the comment section, do let me know if you really liked it, or if you want to know about something else other than this. I will be more than happy to share it. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye, stay safe.